Hello there, Star Wars toy fans. This is Jim. Thanks again for taking the time to stop by my channel. Well, a question was asked in one of the videos that I did on how I store my action figures is how do I store my weapons? And I really wish I had a solid way that I organize them that would be just a killer way for you guys who are wondering, okay, what do I do with my loose figures? How do I keep track of the weapons? So I'll show you what I do, and it's not fantastic, but maybe you can bounce off of that and come up with better ideas. In the video that I did on the collector cases, you will see that I store my weapons with the figures that are in the case, like, say, Darth Vader and C-3PO. They go right in that tray or door that keeps them from falling out. In the case of the vinyl cases, I store them in these little blue weapons containers that came with the bandolier. Now, I don't actually own the bandolier, but I have several of these, and I really like how it keeps them all just in one place. Except for the real large ones, and in those cases I'll keep with the figures. But this happens to go with a Wampa collector case, and those are exclusively Hasbro. Now, looking here, this says Return of the Jedi on it, and actually these are the figures that are more or less Hasbro, like Grand Moff Tarkin, that kind of thing, and the Mandalorian. I also have a fake Rhombus spear in there that I need to get replaced. Here is the ones from the C-3PO Return of the Jedi case. And I keep the smaller weapons in here so that way they don't get lost in case the door happens to pop open. This one happens to be extra weapons and those that I still have from the survival kit. And I even have an extra Leia blaster. I don't know how I acquired that one. But that's something that I want to trade for an actual Rhombus spear one of these days. This is the Yoda collector case, so these are strictly Hasbro's. And again, they're all just kind of loosely put in there. And then this happens to be the one from my childhood Star Wars collector case, so just the vintage Star Wars figures. And that's where I keep them. So I don't keep them in baggies with the figure and the weapon. So how do I know who goes to who? Well, back in the days before the internet, I had a binder similar to this that fell apart. And that's where I would keep all my Star Wars stuff. So I got a duplicate of it, a little bit larger. So what I did was I drew a picture of each one of the weapons and then wrote who it went to. So we'll do a little close-up here for you. And so this one says Leia black. That's obviously the Star Wars Leia. Leia Hoth blue. Leia Bespin blue. And then it goes through each one of these. And it took some time to draw them and write it out, but I'm glad I did because I knew I was going to forget it. In fact, at the time, I knew I was going to forget it. And then we work our way up. So there's Emperor's Royal Guard. And work your way up to the top there. And then this is the next page, more Return of the Jedi weapons here. And then the last page, a lot of Ewok stuff on this page. And then if you're curious what I have to the rest of the binder, well, this is really exclusive just to the Kenner stuff. So then I have just a show of the figures and the variations that came out from Tomart's Action Figure Digest sometime in the late 90s. And that helps also identify some weapons and some variations, the various different Lukes, some weird Bib Fortuna stuff, the Lando with teeth, without teeth, the Leia with the different collars. So it's kind of a nice little area to see all the different figures. Plus it has the collector coins and shows all the ones that are produced. I only have a few of those. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet. And I'm really digressing here, but then it also has some pages that I took out on the collector cases. I really am fascinated by this gold Darth Vader collector case. I really wish Kenner had produced it, but that incidentally was a prototype for the C-3PO, if you didn't know that. And then they have this droids one. This is really quite different than the talking C-3PO. And I wish they'd produced that one. That would be a cool variation to have. And then it just gets into more detail on cards, and then my instructions, which you can see from the videos that I put together. Well, as far as the Hasbro guys go, I didn't necessarily draw them out. What I did was, at the time, I just went online and somehow, I don't remember the site, I don't think it's even up anymore, but they had photos of each of the weapons close up. So I just cut and paste and then put exactly what it was and then who has it. So we get focused there. So this is the Blastech E11 Bronze Blaster for the Weequay. Now, I don't have that memorized, what all these are. I just wrote them down at the time, but it helps keep things organized. And then if I decide to get out the figure for display, if I'm very fortunate to have space, then I will be able to pair things up pretty easily. And those of you that watch my videos, you know, I really didn't go beyond much past 2000 for many of my loose figures, unless I didn't like the sculpt of that particular figure, and then I went to and bought a later one. And then in that case, I just go basically to galacticfigures.com, which used to be Jedi Business. But yeah, it just has basically all the weapons for each of the figures that you might see. And it's another way to organize it. It's time consuming, but if you don't have anything better to do with your time, you can do something similar to this. And then, of course, I have for what I collect and the figures that were on the card and some of the variations and so forth. So just a way to keep things organized as far as which goes with which. Well, I hope you found this video useful, and please give it a thumbs up if you did. Leave some comments in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have some new subscribers. We're getting close to 400 now, which is great. It's not quite 1,000, but one of these days we'll get there. Take care, and we'll see you on another video.